All right, we're going to pull up Lawrence Wendell here in a minute. We're going to pull up Lawrence Wendell here in a minute. Just got a message from my friend Tim Smith, who's the divine partner of Shekinah Rose, my beloved sister. And he said, can you play my song on your show? So Tim is a really cool dude. He lives in, I think, Scottsdale. Yeah, he's been in the music business. He's like a producer. For many, many years. He's been producing recently Shekinah's harmonic light language, and they're doing some really amazing stuff. We're going to have them on pretty soon. Let me just turn that on instead of the intro, and we'll listen to a little bit of Tim Smith's creation. Tim and I are going to have to get together and have to do a little conscious rap to his beat. This is what it's all about, collaboration. Tim Smith from Scottsdale, Arizona, Shekinah Rose's divine partner in the music business for many, many years. So we're going to be hearing more of that, I have a feeling. Very cool, very cool. Thank you for sending that over, and I look forward to, I'm not trying to be presumptuous, but I look forward to collaborating with you, Tim. That's a very nice tune, man. Very nice tune. All right, let's get over here and get our brother, beloved brother, Lawrence Wendell on. See what's been going on. For those of you who don't know Lawrence, you might want to strap your seatbelt on. Lawrence is out there doing this and doing it in grand fashion. He's been basically disconnected from the matrix for a couple of years, maybe 3 years. He's given up all his identification, any ties to the matrix whatsoever, money, identification, papers, you know. He's just doing taking it to the extreme and embodying his true self into this matrix and anchoring some powerful codes for everybody to be able to receive. So here he comes. Let me just turn on his video. There we go. What's up, brother?
How are you, Todd?
Doing pretty good. I guess we're representing the two polarities here, the extremes of warm weather and cold weather.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. My volume wasn't there.
Oh, it wasn't there. I just said we were anchoring the extremes, the polarities of cold weather and warm weather. Is it snowing up there?
No, it's actually a beautiful blue day, blue sky.
Oh, wow.
Temperature woke up to minus 15 degrees this morning, Fahrenheit.
Minus 15 degrees.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah. Beautiful blue skies, though. Absolutely beautiful.
we got to this place. I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. Um, we're going to be able to broadcast for the next 48 or 49 days. Um, thank you, Lori. I mean Karen. Sorry about that. But when I got here, it was 91 degrees. It's 2 minutes from the beach, and it's 91 degrees. So very cool to be able to work
Oh,
here.
you
Yeah.
got an
So
RV parked out front then?
yeah, yeah, got the RV
Yeah.
parked up. Yeah,
Oh,
so it's all
cool.
cool.
That's
Very
very
cool.
nice.
Yeah, I was excited to be able to start scheduling. Morgan went to go hang with one of our beloved sisters and for a few days, and so I had to take over the scheduling. I hadn't done it in a while, and I thought, man, where do we start, man? We got like this long list of people, plus the people that have been, that we've been, collaborating with, like you. And I thought, man, I want to talk to Lawrence because there's been some amazing, amazing stuff happening. It's 13 days into February. January was I mean, we talked, I think, at the 1st of January, and but man, I mean, it's like quantum, exponential quantum. I mean, to the 99th power or something. I don't know. How's it been for you?
Oh, pretty mellow. It's still still holding the space.
Yeah,
Just being.
yeah.
Yeah.
At and at 15 below, I think things might move a little slower than they do at 90 degrees.
We know
I'd be,
yesterday was about 35 degrees and it was
wow.
nice. Walk in the forest, and then
Yeah,
this in the afternoon, a storm, a front came through, a cold front came through. Very little
yeah,
snow, just a
yeah.
dusting, and tomorrow's gonna warm back up to 20 degrees. I
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking
know that's
Fahrenheit
kind of
here.
hard to imagine when you're in Florida, you poor guy, you.
No, we raced to beat the snow. We left Sedona and we were coming from California and it was cold up there. It was cold in Northern California because we were in the mountains. I know we talked there. And but so we went to Sedona for a couple of nights and then when we left, you have to go up to Scottsdale and then take a right and head east. And there was snow on the highway banks, where they blow out the dirt and they build the little embankments, and so we just stayed in front of it. But yeah, luckily we were heading down here for a conference, and you know as you are showing everybody by your example, and what you're doing, we're attracting um, our own energy basically when we get to whatever frequency we're at or combination of frequencies, vibration that we're at. The external is starting to match us. I mean, I know you can relate to that. I mean, you've really anchored in the truth basically by declaring your sovereignty in all ways. I mean, are you finding that the externals matching your frequency? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's what I got to get myself into this space. Yeah, as long as you stay in or I stay in a state of trust and don't resist anything, um, in that place is where magic happens. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you talk about power. Power emanates from nothingness, from absolute zero resistance. I'm talking to be, ohms are a measure of resistance in a current. Ohms, OHM. And if you can remain ohm free as you greet anything or anyone, literally you are home free. To be in that current, that flow, exactly you know, and I got the word go, flow and go, but that it's just it's like if there was an old mainstream, you know, I'm a tributary that's starting a new stream.
you're a bulldozer. You're not a
Well,
tributary. You're
I'm
creating
not
a tributary.
I'm not
You're
forcing anything.
no, no, but I mean, you no, you're not forcing anything. You're actually in my opinion, you aligned your free will with really universal mathematics, universal will, and
Yeah.
jumped into your purpose and your being and your essence 100%. And I think you're a fucking bulldozer. There's no force. There's no force there. That is flow. You're just expanding. You're buying into and aligning with what is true, and creating uh, an expansion of the universe through yourself. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't, I don't, I don't know what I'm doing in this. I can't know from this place, this third dimensional,
yeah,
persona of known as Lawrence.
yeah,
But to to greet or to experience the wonders as often as Lawrence does, he can know no longer. I mean, you can't bury your head in the sand anymore. It's just like, wow, this is wild. You really don't have to work to do anything
mm,
except let go. And that's the hardest thing for anybody to do, is to let go, man. And it's your freedom comes in the letting go of the things that you think you need, or you things
yeah,
you think you have to have. And it's like, it's a paradox. No matter what I say, it comes back and around and greets itself on the other side of the spectrum. It's
yeah,
like, it
yeah.
just is, it's just is.
Yeah, I like what you said earlier about that. I don't know how you put it, but that space of nothingness. You know, I remember having a lucid dream years ago. And I don't remember what the dream was about, but it was very intense. One of those, where your heart's palpitating,
Yeah,
and
that's
all
all
of
I
a
was.
sudden, do you know what I'm talking about? And all
Oh
of a
yeah.
sudden, there was like this thud, like a boom, just like this. I don't know how to explain it. It was very unique. But anyway, in that instant, all of a sudden, I was floating in nothingness. In nothingness, it was just black. And at first, because it was very lucid. I was, as a human, I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, is this hell? I mean, am I in purgatory? I mean, there's nobody here. There's nothing here. And that is to me, that's the space that you're talking about. It's the holy darkness. It's the mother goddess. It's the womb. And the amazing thing is like, when you go into that space energetically, especially in your physical life, you don't know it. You don't, not only do you not know anything, but you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Right.
But somehow or another, when you align with that and become that, whatever you thought you were, or whatever you did give up, because you didn't think you gave it up, you gave it all up. You go into this space and you come out of it like an
With everything.
orgasm. Yeah, like an orgasm. And you have everything that you had enhanced exponentially. And then you have this third energy, this Trinity energy, or whatever you want to call it, that's expanding the universe. And it's so weird. Like you said, it's a paradox, because it's at the human level that it actually is where the most beauty and magic and fantasy, and just like, man, I mean, it's quantum upon quantum upon quantum. And I don't think anybody could predict where we'd even be in 30 days, to be honest with you. It's moving that fast.
It's in the emptiness that you shall be fulfilled. It's a thrill. It's a thrilling adventure, because, like today, for example, I went to the grocery store to get my groceries, for the next week, and there's three attendants, standing there waiting to service somebody, because this morning there was nobody there in the grocery store, basically. And I had my grocery cart full of groceries. Hey, how are you doing? Good. Hi. And they just stepped out of my way, and I walked by and came back to the house, and I'm good to go for another week, or until something else might prompt me to move. But in that moment, when you walk by from the human perspective, because you don't know until you need to know. And I'll know when I get stopped, for
Yeah.
example. Uh,
If that's even going to be a part of your universe at
yeah,
some
yeah,
point.
exactly. Because I mean, Lawrence does not, Lawrence has given up his desire because he's aligned his desire with that of universal intent.
Yeah.
So I just go with that flow. I follow, and I've lost my mind and I am now guided by heart. Because, see, somebody posted something the other day, a friend on Facebook, that said, there is, the heart is never vulnerable. It is the mind
Yeah.
that is vulnerable to attachments, to attachments to expectations. Like the human mind, as you walk through the grocery store, are you gonna be stopped? Are you gonna be let go? Are you gonna pass? That's the mind. But the heart already knows. It just goes. And if the heart says no, then that heart that resides in the security or the checker or whoever that I cross paths with is going to say something, or they'll I'll be walking down the street and somebody will say something, where this is, and it'll be south.
Yeah.
And that'll be a point to Lawrence to go south if he's looking for a place to go. So it's a whole new way of translating every experience with every other human being, which is where the one is. The one is the heart.
Yeah.
We are in the heart of the universe. We are the heart of the universe. And I greet that heart in you. And I speak to that heart in you and you and you, or the W's or the we. And I don't even have to say words because really that one knows exactly what my thoughts are. So this is where we go with it in the future, where you don't really have to speak words unless you choose to speak words.
True. Yeah. I like what you
Because
said too.
you're
I like
speaking to
what
the,
you
yeah,
go. Go. I'm sorry. There's a lag.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
No, I like what you said about the heart. Uh, I think, maybe it's the biggest one. I don't know. But,
It's the what?
well, maybe what I'm going to say is the biggest point of detachment. And that is what we think love is and what love is. It's so hard to explain what love is in a universal sense, but we know it's way beyond earth love. But my point is, upon your words, the heart doesn't fear. The heart's not vulnerable. The heart is the heart. The heart is it. That's it. That's it. And what you're saying is so true. And people like you are actually exemplifying where we're going and what we are. I ran into Richie Sauter, who's got to be connected to you at the hip because of his fire and vitality and vigor. So he came down here. He's got a converted vehicle, and we hooked up at a drum circle. And then he said, "Hey, I'm going to go try to find a spot. We can park in, like an RV park." And where we were at, I had checked them out. There was this one spot that was like $250 a night. It was like the most popular one, and it's booked till like April. So the next day I see him and he says, "Hey man, I got a free space." I said, "Where?" He said, Turtle Cove. And I'm like, "Dude, how did you get a place over there?" He said, "Well, I just pulled in the parking lot and pulled up to spot number 44 and it was empty. And we pulled in and had a peaceful night and pulled out and had a peaceful exit. And then he went and camped at a beach a couple of days later. And there's not too many beaches you can like park next to or even park on. And so he said, "Oh yeah, we were parked on the beach and, or wherever they were at, there was a bunch of vehicles and the cops came and they went to every single vehicle except ours."
Yeah, that's the kind of
That's,
stuff. That's
that's
people
it.
love that. Those are the
Right.
kind of stories we need to tell everybody because
Exactly.
all you got to do is
Exactly.
put your trust. Whatever happens, happens. It's supposed to happen because it's happening for me, not to me.
That's right.
And
That's
if
right.
we can just move into that state of allowance and allow those things to happen for us and receive them as though they are a gift indeed, and they
Yeah.
are,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how you build that that trust builds that bond with the creator, and then you start walking around in this whole new world. It's so it's so it's so real. It's so 3D, yet it's multi-D,
Yeah, it's
because
yeah.
we are multi-D, and you can greet that multi-D frequency that you embody in every other human being. Like those cashiers have multi-dimensional aspects of themselves that are with them as well, who then greet me at my frequency and say, have a lovely day, because I don't have this belief that I got to pay for anything that I need anymore. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lie
Yeah.
in Lawrence's awareness. You know,
Yeah.
now it's Lawrence's truth, and this truth will bleed into all we are uh, when, because all we are, each has free will to choose to let go of what they think they need because of that security. It's the mind that gets in there and rationalizes this, that, one thing, and another. If you lose the mind, you get out of the mind and let go and trust the heart, man. I'll tell you, it dropped me to the bottom. Believe me, I was in the streets, sleeping under bridges, food lines and all that kind of stuff. But no, when then you take responsibility for your condition, you say, I'm going to fix it, because I already knew that this thing about money was a lie, because I'd already proven that, the IRS stood down, the FBI stood down, the banks, everybody stood down. And it's like, because I was sharing the truth, and that truth became self-evident to moi, to where it gave me the courage then to spend whatever money I had left over, and then realize that I can't carry that fiat currency or that false narrative construct anymore, because that really lowers my vibration on my body, because it's got a spell. It's a script.
Yeah.
So this is where Lawrence now lives. He does not have wants, because to have a want is to actually express a lack.
Yeah.
Okay, because if I want something, it's because I don't have something, right?
Yeah.
But if I let go of the want, I open myself up
Yeah.
to having access to everything that I need. So I am, by empty, I am full, to have no ownership, because I am the ship,
Yeah.
the earth ship, and all that is I, or mine, and all that is mine is yours. It's
That's
just a
right.
weird place.
But and money is a great example, I think, because if you look at where we've come from, the main frequency, or the primary frequency of duality, is codependency. And so here you have this, codependency. Typically we would think of, another person or a relationship, but with money, I mean, it's just like there is no people there. You know what I mean? It's just a piece of paper or a coin or a
Or
concept,
digits, or
or
digits.
digits, or whatever, plastic. And yet and you're right, as long as we don't put our money where our mouth is, so to speak, and walk the talk, like you're doing. And I'm not coming down on anybody or myself, because I still haven't made that break. I've made a lot of breaks, but not that one. But the thing is, as long as we participate, we're tied to it, and it is a codependent frequency. So at some
That's
point,
the power of belief is what holds your reality together. What you as a man believeth, so is he.
hmm,
So it is by your belief, your very belief, that gives it the power to hold that reality in place. You are free to go when you gather the courage, or you wait till your higher self does what it did to me back then, why I find myself here now,
hmm,
because I didn't fight that. I didn't put up any resistance to what I had, because I had come into the awareness that all this was a lie, and I knew I couldn't live that anymore, for the sake of my children and their children, and for when
hmm,
I come back, right? Because at that time, I had this idea that I was guided into the awareness that whatever I leave behind in this world, this time, I'll be brought back into to continue on with those lessons, because this don't stop. I'm just going to tell you from where I'm at. I'm telling you, I don't expect to not to continue to grow and expand and learn and experience that every energetic exchange I have with you and every other you out there or I out there is a gift exchange, a learn, teach, learn, energetic
Yep.
exchange. It's
Yep.
all about energy. And if you can get yourself out of the human body, the confines of the human body, I actually look at my body more like a pinball in a game. That's I don't care if it's called through a labyrinth or whatever, but it's where I go to greet my next lessons, to embody higher frequencies still, or what I mean.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. I mean, it's a never ending. I mean, that's what a soul is to me. I mean, it's growth. It's constant. It's constant growth. And sometimes you're conscious, of what's happening, and sometimes you're not. And we've come from a realm that we were very unconscious, very asleep collectively. But this is a new math in the physical experience. This is etheric, non-physical, beyond esoteric. I mean, this energy is real. We played with this energy and dimension and with our imagination and creativity, and now we're creating. I don't even know. Are we creating what's occurring as it appears in our life when we expand our frequency, or as we expand our frequency? I mean, or does it just happen? It's almost like our
we are
desire is known, our experience is desired, is known by the soul, and this space you're talking about is bringing these things into reality, and but beyond reality, really.
well, what you term as reality isn't reality, except to those who believe it as their reality. It's all relative to the eye of the beholder. And yes, we are creating our reality in every now moment.
Mm-hmm.
Every now moment. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
bring anything of the past into the
Mm.
present.
True.
And you can
Very
change your
true.
ways and means of being by just simply letting that go and putting your trust in that one that flows through all, that heart within you that
Mm.
resides in every other atom of creation.
Yeah.
I you know, and there's a beauty and a perfection that everybody isn't in the same place that I am all at once, because it couldn't happen that way. It's not going, because this is a unique experience. This is a one of, I guess this is like the first time we're ever doing this where we're all alive still. And that's why the it's like a phase sequence or a coordinated cooperation of transition from one state of being, you know,
Mm.
an external expression, to more like an internal creation. A polar switch is that thing within us that reflects outside of us. Because see, if let's say for example, where I'm staying right now, if if she wasn't here paying her mortgage, what I mean, to keep this thing going, everybody's in their own stages
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
awakening. There wouldn't be food brought to the grocery store. We got to shift from where we were to where we're going.
Mm.
And I mean, this orchestration, you can't even fathom the orchestration that's going on by the creator
Mm-mm.
through all of us.
Everybody's got a piece, like everybody's anchoring something in, everybody's, you know what I mean? Like in your
Yeah.
example with where you're staying, and so there she's participating, not a bad word, she's participating in that fiat currency and debt and agreement and contracts. You're on the other end of the spectrum, but these types of polarities converging is actually what brings not the existing middle ground to me, but the new template, the new blueprint, the new 0 point, the expanded 0 point, which is being profoundly amplified because we're in the physical. Like you said, we've never done this while we were alive. I like that statement because the energy of it speaks to me.
Yeah, it's a unique first time in creation, I guess, that we're doing it while we're alive, and we can embody, you know, the they got this term, the diamond is forever, and if you can move into that state of diamond, where you're not, the white light or the dark light, you're that, you know, human love is a conditioned love.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an attachment to something with an expectation. And if that
Human
expectation
human
isn't,
human love is a fear of love. you know,
well,
going
it's a
back to
fear of loss. Once you get
yeah,
that love, you don't want to lose it. But when you find that love within you, you can love unconditionally, and it's that unconditional place that has no bias.
yeah,
It just goes with the flow, and there's no contract that
yeah.
binds somebody together anymore. It's
True,
just that love that brings the two together,
true.
and if it should shift and change, go with the flow. I mean, I
Yeah,
tried to, when I was married, I loved my wife, but and the more I tried to, you know, come back together again, the more toxic it became. So I was at this point where it's like, oh my God, one of us is going to be taken out if I don't let go.
yeah,
Somebody had to let go. And so I let go. And that was the hardest thing in my entire life to do, was to
yeah. There,
actually do that, not just beyond the mind,
yeah.
but to actually do it and be able to see, face to face with the one, you know, you love. But the funny thing is I didn't realize that I really didn't love myself,
Yeah.
back then. So how could I really, truly, honestly love another? And that's what I found in me when I let go of everything
Yeah.
that wasn't me, and I found this other part of me that's always been there, that's here within each of us.
Yeah. Love is letting go. Love
It,
love is letting
and
go.
unconditional is really
Yeah.
the operative word here about love, and it is a detached form of love. It is a love without expectations, a
It's
love and a trust.
it's a trust.
Uh,
Yeah. It's a trust of love. It's a trust of truth, I mean, unconditional love, we talk about unconditional love, but what you were saying earlier in the show, it's unconditional trust. If I have unconditional trust, um, I have no resistance. I have no attachment. I have, you know, I have the peace of nothing, you know, in the reality or the experience of everything, or the availability of everything. Let's put it that way. But yeah,
yeah, and if the mirror, the universe is like a mirror to us as we are within ourselves, and so is it reflected back to us. So you can trust that everything that's going on out there that's brought into my local sphere of influence, or my local universe here, that it affects my experience,
yeah,
is exactly what I need for my own growth, and for the expansion of the whole. Because as I grow, become more of, embody my wholeness. And when I speak of wholeness, I'm talking about oneness,
yeah.
because there is no separation here
No,
anymore.
no.
Everyone speaks to me as though it was a part of me.
Yeah,
I'm not singular in any way, but yet at the same token, I am singular.
yeah. True. Unique.
It's a trip to wrap your mind around, you know,
But it
context.
yeah, it is, I think, and it isn't, because like you said, there's no separation. So there's nothing in between. So if you are aligning, with free will, with universal will, or however you want to put it, how you put it a minute ago, um, there's only one way to act, basically. There's only one way to be, and
And that's it. That's what makes it so
yeah,
complex. Is all you got to do is be.
yeah,
I don't make plans. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I can, like, if you have a meeting, you're going to have a party over there in Florida.
hmm,
Lawrence, puts it out there. If it's for my best and highest good, let it be so. I would love that. and I express
Yeah.
that to the universe through thought,
Yeah.
and just and then let it go.
Yeah.
There's a meeting and it costs $333 to go to at Mount Shasta, coming up at the 8-8 Lions Gate. That would be cool to go there. But the beautiful thing is, because I don't get the human in the way, and I put this instrument in the hands of the one that flows through all, if I end up being there, it's because Spirit wanted me there for
That's where you
purpose.
needed to be. That's where you
That's
needed to
where I
be.
needed to be. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, I cannot know. But that's part of the thrilling adventure that Lawrence is now
Yeah.
on, where it doesn't cost him anything,
Hmm.
and all he does is expand into the realms of miracles and wonders that just uh, keep him going on this journey.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm held in a place for longer than you really think you want to be there, but you know what? It ain't about me. It ain't about Lawrence's will no more. It's like I just gave it up, and that's my journey. That's not
Yeah.
this is what I'm here for. I want the highest good because I know the world I leave behind is, I'm just I'm just being the change that I'm guided to be. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And another thing, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've noticed in really, really with more validity as time has gone on, that as this alignment is occurring and as these miracle, well, what we might call miracles appear, or the road, appears in front of you in just this incredible way, there was certainly, a year or two ago, there was certainly like two steps up, one step back, two steps up, one step back. And I know you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
because we have a similar path. But what I'm saying is that as this thing is accelerated, there are these little potential meltdown points, or these, where the energy becomes, because you got to remember, these energetic blessings, these expansions in frequency are great, but the last point of alignment is from the human space, and it's a little bit heavy sometimes. We think of, like, bad pressure sometimes, but there's also good pressure. But I guess what I'm saying is these periods don't seem to last very long, and when we get through them, when we come through the other side and realize it's got no hold on us, you know the magic and the miracle appears. It seems like it's appearing instantly now. You know, it really does. I mean,
I know yeah, I've recognized a pattern. I speak my creation into being,
yeah,
because whatever my words are that come out of my mouth, I better be ready to live by them,
yeah,
because my higher self, I mean, you talk about tough love.
oh hell yeah,
Well, it is. It's fatherly love, literally fatherly love. Call it what you want, but your higher self is going to hold you to some pretty high
yeah,
standards. When you walk this line, and it is literally walking the razor's edge
hmm, yeah,
of, of purity,
yeah,
pure presence and purity of heart and mind, getting in that space of kindness, in very difficult situations.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. The I'm sorries without expecting an I'm sorry. The thinking or saying something, and because you're now conscious and aware, knowing you can't carry that energy forward, so you kind of got to, like, press alternate delete, but quick, but without fear, just saying, hey, I'm learning. We went to lunch. Sandra Walter, when we were in Sedona, invited us to lunch one day, and beautiful lady, and she made this comment. She was talking about a friend, and she basically said, you know, we're at the point now where the higher self is here, loud and clear. The line of communication is wide open. And if you don't listen and align and merge your will with that universal will, your higher self is going to embarrass the hell out of you. And you know, I can see that energy potential out there. So yeah, it's a good time to keep your own counsel and keep that line of communication wide open, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, your own counsel. You know what's best. Your higher self will come through you. You don't need to pay anybody to be told what to do, go to school, do any of that
Mm-mm,
stuff.
mm-mm.
All you got to do is just put the intention out to the universe that you wanted to be guided to become your higher self. You want to be merged with your higher self. And are you know you're you know your higher self knows every one of your thoughts and whether you're ready or not, and it knows who you are, and it's gonna carry you through that process to
Mhm.
gradually, so that you can tame those dragons or those shadows within you, and let them, become your ally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your power. Let them
yeah,
become further enhance your power, you know?
that's exactly right. That's embodied frequency. That's, you are pure intelligent energy,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. It's about this. The currency reval has everything to do with embodied frequency. Don't
Yeah.
expect, a gold standard to come out. Don't
No.
expect, yeah.
Cryptocurrency, don't accept it. No, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
none of that stuff. All that stuff
Yeah.
is just going to be,
It's the frequency that you're carrying. I think we're moving into it over at Soulogy, you know, slowly through co-creation and collaboration, not selling anything, not charging anything, you know, operating on the honor system and gifting forward as we receive, we pass forward. You know, this is the collaboration, the community, the co-creation frequency that's replacing codependency and all the, you know, bullshit structures that hold up that codependent frequency, such as the financial system or these lawless laws or whatever the case is. But people are doing it. You know, Vera Ingeborg and Augusti Sala are fixing to go to Colorado. This is all being done in the same frequency that you're doing it. They've created Fast Forward, which is carrying that process forward. Everybody shows up and offers what they have to the community. And it doesn't matter if one has a bunch of fucking zeros and the other one is a pot of beans. It doesn't matter. And that is
right.
oneness. And that is the embodiment and manifestation of the flower of life. You know, we're all bees. We're all worker bees, and we all have a certain specialty. And that's how it works. It's actually
That's actually how I started too. Is actually working on basically trusting. I worked on a donation. I worked on
mm,
donations. And I just put my trust in the universe that I would get enough donations to put food on my table and pay
yeah,
my rent.
yeah,
That was the beginning of the end of that for me.
yeah,
And when you practice that, being of service for free, and accepting donations, that is pushing through a comfort zone. And every time we
yeah,
push through a comfort zone, we open ourselves up to a higher embodied frequency.
yeah.
And
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
frequency comes in those miracle, wonderful moments where you can reflect now and say, "Oh my gosh, I've been able to have all the food I need, and all the gas I need to get to where I do and be." And you know what? That's how you just stepping up.
I
That's
think
beautiful.
I Yeah, I think one of the big potential shifts is going to come from this community leading the way in terms of the financial uh, processes, let's just say. And that is that for, you know, and understandably so, for so long, people charge. That's just the way the template was built. the space we were operating in. But as this new energy is coming in, one way or the other, it's like you said, each one of us has a higher self. It's tough love. It wants us to maximize the experience and our own potential and the universe, this opportunity. And I think when the community that we're involved with, or that, seems that we're involved with, starts to shift from, when it starts to trust totally, and in place of, I have value, I need to charge for myself, which is a part of the transition and necessary, what gives way and is superseded by, I trust the universe completely. I'm going to participate. I'm going to hold the integrity of the honor system, and pay it forward, and gift as I am gifted. There are one and the same, and it becomes that infinity sign. I think that's going to be a huge shift, a potential huge shift, one of the hugest in consciousness. We could affect this world dramatically and instantly, if that catches fire, and I think it will.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna. I just trust in the whole process. Everybody's exactly where they need to be,
Yeah.
and I honor everyone, everyone equally, because everyone is equal.
Yeah.
Everyone's equal, and everyone's exactly where they need to be now. And as I honor and be free, so am I honored to live free.
Yeah. And is your
It's a
brother
mirror.
and your
It's a
sister.
mirror. The universe is a
Yeah.
mirror. It's, as you
That's
be,
right.
uh, it has no choice but to reflect that back to you.
That's right. And when, so much of this experience is emphasized, in the human interactions with each other, with one another. So when we talk trust, I mean, like you said, it's an all or nothing situation. Oneness is oneness, period. There is no, bullet points or dots, or exceptions
Yeah,
or anything.
or this guy's not a part of me, or
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So our, I think a big part of our transition is on these human interactions where we don't see that person as ourselves. It doesn't matter if we see him as bigger than us or smaller than us, you know. But this is kind of where it hurts, but this is where we can walk through it, no different than your morning at the grocery store. It's no different. We can let that loop play, that dialogue play, that narrative keep going, or we can say, bullshit, I'm looking at myself, this is me, you know he is me, I am him, whatever, we are one, I mean, period. And even if we can't walk away in total balance, and walk on water like Jesus, at least we can walk away with a little bit of conscious intention implemented into our experience, into the physicality, into the collective matrix, and we're going to be better for it. The human may not see it immediately, but it'll come.
I call it spiritual weightlifting, or practice that makes perfect.
Yeah.
We have to it. When you're transitioning from the old thought patterns to the new, it takes a dedication and
Yeah.
discipline
Yeah.
to carry understanding for that part of you that you're greeting, that doesn't see things the way you see things,
Yeah. It's a
and
lifestyle.
share compassion and understanding with them in
Yeah.
that moment.
It's a lifestyle, you know,
Yeah.
and we're faced with making new choices every day. I mean, I've made some, yeah, we've all made choices, and turned the page and put stuff behind us, and it's just going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think at this point, it's involving what we look at as the human body, which we look at as somehow being different than everything out here, like the wind and the stars, but it's not. It's not even bones and blood and flesh. It's the same God is substance. And this is where the final alignment is taking place, is in the physicality from the center of the universe, which is the body or the vehicle that we're carrying. So there's things that I'm giving up, and I'm sure other people are going to be challenged by their higher self to give up and let go of, uh, that are basically pacifiers and distractions, to keep our head in the game consciously and consistently. Um, yeah, it's going down, bro.
You think about the fractal nature of creation itself. If you just focus in on you and your body,
Yeah,
as you do to you and your body, you do to the body of the earth, you do
that's
to
right.
the body of the solar system, you do to the body of the galaxy,
Yeah,
to the body of the universe and to the multiverse. It's like it's fractal, and that's why all you got to do is work on you, work on
mm,
I, and everything else just does what it's supposed to do in that fashion.
yeah, right on. I like the fact that I started scheduling like I told you earlier last night, and I sent out about 20, or I don't even know how many, quite a few. And yeah, you write me back. You write me back and say, "Well, I don't make any plans. I do everything in the spontaneous." I thought, well, that's how I do it. I said, so I just wrote you back, said, "How about tomorrow?" First,
Yeah.
but I'm telling that story because of the energetics of it, and I'm starting. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to really get used to just being in the present. I was walking back after I moved in over here, or parked over here, and we're walking back from the beach, and I heard like, "You are so rich." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And well, you've got a RV. I mean, in this present moment, you have an RV, you have a place to broadcast, you have a car, you have a beloved partner, you have this and that. And then I'm like, wow, yeah, that's true. I can hold that frequency. If all I got to do is continue to be a better me in human terms, and when I say that, I don't mean that piously. I just mean further alignment with universal will, further, focus on the the physical, biological, all the different molecules, of the body actually making this transformation into what they say the light body, or whatever that is, and paying attention. I mean, this is okay. I can do this. I know you can do it. Bulldozer.
Well,
You're like the fullback. I'm the tailback. You're the fullback. You're blowing the tributary, creating the tributary. I'm just coming in behind you.
I was blessed with the resources to go discover, get out of work, get out of
Yeah,
schedules, get,
yeah, yeah.
to let go of. I started letting go years ago, so it's just been my unique journey. Um,
When did yours start? Was it 2011 by chance?
um, yeah, in earnest, yes. In 2011, I was called by Discover Bank to collect money on my ex-wife's Discover card because she declared bankruptcy,
Yeah,
and I had already reconciled all my karma. I had already come into that awareness. Everything was clear, and so I put the word out to the universe. Help me understand the gift you're trying to share with me. Next thing I know, I'm finding out people are discharging debt,
yeah,
getting the titles of their homes and cars, and it's like, oh, cool. So it was, in 2012, I no longer had a driver's license. I let go of that. I let go of, you know, uh, I started letting go in 2008. I let go of my wife. 2010, I let go of my business. 2012, let go of the banks. 2016, dismissed my own cases in the courts. uh, and 2017, let go of the idea that I needed money.
yeah,
Um, because
yeah.
Spirit told me, Lawrence, if you want to be abundant, you better spend like you're abundant. You got to be as you wish to be in your world. So I took
Right.
that little bit of money I had left over for selling. My mom sold my truck because she wouldn't let me, because she wouldn't give it back to me because I never licensed it or registered it with the state.
Nothing
So
like a good mom.
So
That's a good way to got us.
she registered herself and sold
Yeah.
it and gave me the money to go on my journey because she could no longer handle me around her house because I wasn't abiding by the rules. So I spent it all, and I ended up in Sedonia with no money or just enough for a train ticket to the beach in Laguna, and that's where I began my journey of
We
trust.
have been we
Natural.
have been running on the same highways here, same locations. Uh, so, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it works. You don't follow the yellow brick road; you create it, and it literally forms one brick in front of you at a time. You just got to have your foot in the air, ready to take the next step, because it will be there.
Love that, man. That's beautiful, bro. That's great. I love it.
That's you, man. I'm just describing you. That's all.
That's how the bridge gets built. Indeed, you
Yeah,
you you you,
yeah,
you don't know where your foot's going to land, but you know what? By the time it's ready to come down, there's something there, and
yeah.
that's where the trust is built.
It's very true.
And the trust. What is a trust? A trust is an inheritance that's reserved for when the child of God becomes a co-creator with God, or an adult responsible enough to handle the true abundance
Mm.
of universal.
That's a great one there. I wish I would have thought of that one.
No,
So,
this is
so
what's been I've been guided to by the One
yeah,
People's Public Trust. It foreclosed on everything. Everything is it's a trust. It is your
yeah,
inheritance in the kingdom that I'm sharing with you right now. I'm living a trust.
that's right.
I
Yeah,
live it. I be it.
that's what I was getting at. When well, we'll have to speak in human terms. When I trust the universe, I am given the trust. And I know that sounds
Access to your
like
trust fund.
I know that
Access
sounds
to
like
your trust fund.
yeah, it almost sounds like old religious dogma, but it's not. What I'm saying is that there's a with being a creative element. You have to have a full blown consciousness, commitment, devotion, love, because you have the keys to the kingdom. You can do whatever the hell you want to do, and
Well,
obviously,
not
hmm.
what Lawrence wants to do,
No, no,
but
no,
what
no,
I
no.
want to do.
I mean, as far as creating from that space, that's a lot of
Yeah.
power, and you can't have the threads of the human story and BS and illusion and conditioning and programs
You
tied to you.
can't think like a human. You
Mm-mm,
cannot think like
mm-mm,
a human. No,
mm-mm,
no. That's to identify with the human
mm.
is to put yourself in a box and
That's
limit
right.
yourself
Yeah,
because you're everything.
yeah,
Stay open to everything. Detach. I mean, my ultimate idea of freedom is to be able to go, like I dream a genie here, and be where I need to be.
yeah. Well, you know what? That's coming, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
telling you
know.
right now. I'm
I know
telling
it
you
is.
right now.
I'm
I
working on it. I'm working on it. That's my job.
you know, Morgan and I had, etheric helioscomus for
Parody.
a year and a half or so, and then of course we were together, but now recently she went to go see a friend for a few days. And the first night, because we put our hands together when we go to bed at night and we were apart, she felt my hand. Now the night before she left, we put our hands together and clasped them together as we usually do, but then she grabbed mine and kind of turned it, like squeezed it. So the next night, I arrive over here where we're broadcasting, and I lay down, and and I kind of went into the meditative state or whatever you want to call it. I just closed my eyes and relaxed, and I could feel her hand do what it did the previous night. It grabbed it, turned it,
Oh,
and
it's beautiful.
so these things are real. They're happening. No different than when you said you walk into the grocery store and you know that these cashiers are multidimensional, and you're
Yeah.
communicating beyond what you think is a limitation of the communication. You're communicating with all of their higher selves. You're communicating with yourself,
And my
and
higher self can be there now,
that's right.
as her higher self is with you now. When you bring her to mind,
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I sent her a note last night and I said, when I close my eyes, I see you. When I open them, I miss you. But when I open them, it's the human. When you close them, it's the multidimensional, unnamed soul, whatever spirit. I know we're gonna hook up. I know we're gonna see each other this year. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm feeling like Denver, uh, Sedona. I don't know. I feel something coming brewing over there. I think
I
we're
look
gonna
forward
head to
to
the
it, bro.
limit.
I
Yeah,
definitely
man.
look forward to it.
We'll have a blast, man. Came down here and there's an old friend of mine when I came off the street I met in like 2014. Jeremy McDonald, he lives here. He has a group called the Lamplight Group. So anyway, he invited us to a conference and then we did a little gathering. And so we're having a gathering Saturday. And I just got on it yesterday because I could just actually, pull my head out of the water and take a breath. And so Eddie Hensley rolls into town. He's like 7 miles from where I'm at. I'm like, hey, we need to get together, and he's like, yeah, okay. You have an event Saturday? I'm like, yeah, yeah. I said, I'm going to find a DJ. We're going to have a DJ. He says, I'm a DJ. I said, oh, you're a DJ. You want a DJ? He's like, yeah. But see, this is how it happens. All the little pieces come together. Then he writes
Yeah.
me back. He's like, hey, can I invite people? I'm like, yeah, it'll hold 70 people. It's got a kitchen, cameras, internet, speakers, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, now you've got like 4 or 5 little factions of people that are coming to the party, so to speak. This is how it works. This is how it works. And that's just a physical representation of the energy of it. But this is what we're doing. We're actually making this happen in the physical. And this is, man, we're gonna have a blast, Lawrence. I know we are. And I think it's gonna last a long time before we get bored and decide to go take another plunge. I'm guilty of that, I know. But yeah, man, maybe we'll get together next month. If you're not doing anything, check in with you. And as always, I appreciate you spending time with us and sharing space with us and being so upfront about everything and cool about it. But yeah, and tell Maggie hello,
Will
and you
do.
guys take care and warm up a
Thank you,
little bit.
brother.
All right,
Always a
man.
pleasure.
Yeah, man, it really is. I'll see you later, bro.